and welcome to our continuing coverage of the Nile, a river whose water resources are shared by 11 countries and which solely supports a population of almost 90 million people here in Egypt. We are live in Aswan. This is our second day as we move along with the Nile all the way from here up until the Mediterranean. I'm joined by my colleague Mohammed from the Egyptian State Television. How are you, Mohammed?
I'm fine. And you? How is you spending your time so far?
Fabulous. Took in the landscape today and the scenery. Enjoyed the Nile in the Felucca. It was a brilliant experience.
I'm happy you're having good time. Today, guys, we'll be taking you to Komombo Temple. It was dedicated to Sobek and Horus. Horus played a very important part in the famous Egyptian legend of Isis, Osiris, and Vish's brother Set. Please check it out. In Komombo was called in Old Egypt Nupt, meaning city of gold. Seems there were plenty of gold at that time in Komombo. Yasser Hakim has more to tell about Komombo Temple.
The Nile is not just life for Egypt, but it's also the source of goodness. That's why most of the temples in Egypt are built on the riverside, because the desert represents evil. Now, this temple we're at, Komombo Temple, is a special one because it's one of the rare temples that represent two gods, one on the right here and one on the left. On the left side, you will see a picture of a crocodile all over the temple from this side. But it's not just an ordinary crocodile, it's a god.
Sobek, the god of the Nile, the god of the military, and the god of, naturally enough, crocodiles. He surfaced as a deity around 3,000 years ago and was celebrated as a protector with an insatiable libido. Some pharaohs even modeled themselves on him. Sobek had a wide following across Egypt. Thousands of crocodiles were taken from the Nile, worshipped as living incarnations, and then mummified. Muhammad Ibrahim from the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities is an expert on Komombo.
The ancient Egyptian people who were travelers, who were sailors, who stopped their ships close to the temple of Komombo here to go down or to go inside this temple to represent for this god offerings, yes, to approach to this god to keep their journey safe.
As you go farther inside the temple, you reach the exclusive chambers. And now we're at the holiest of the holy chamber. And it's called this way because this is where the king, his allies, and the clerics and advisors used to stay here for worshipping. No citizen was allowed to go inside this chamber, only the king's advisors. And here is a rock where the statue of the god Sobek used to stand, and the king and his advisors would worship him every day.
Sobek, like the other gods of the ancients, is no longer worshipped. The Nile in flood has actually destroyed much of this temple.
But the legend of Sobek lives on, a testament of the strong ties between the river and the deepest held traditions and beliefs of its people.
So Yasser Hakim mentioned that in ancient Egypt, the Nile represented goodness, and journeying through the country that just captures the essence of life here. Everything is centered along this majestic river. We're live from the Old Cataract Hotel.
Do you know what's the meaning of cataract?
It's a rocky place with a river or a stream cutting through it.
Exactly. We have 11 cataracts starting from Aswan, from Sudan to Aswan.
Right.
And we are standing on the 11th cataract that is built on the old cataract.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
Yes, it is.
Well, so there's something that has remained constant throughout these years, and that's a very basic vessel of moving people and goods up and down the River Nile. That's commonly referred to here as Felucca. Here's Famida Miller with more.
It's a scene that's been played out here for countless generations. The guides to this great river preparing for their working day. There are many ways of traveling up and down the Nile. One of the easiest is a felucca. It's a way of traveling that's barely changed over the years, and Adli is our captain today.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
Thank you
Nice to
so
see you.
much.
You're welcome.
In a world of motorized transport, Adli and first mate Abdu continue to make a living from a simple boat that uses nothing more than the power of the wind and the strength of their backs. I think this could be a little bit easier if I help. Can I
Yes,
try?
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome, Hamida. You're welcome.
So I'll go over here.
Yes. Done.
All right.
Okay. تقدر
But-
امسك الدفة؟
Okay. Up.
الدفة وسطان.
Adli, this is a bit heavy. How long have you been rowing for?
With my age 10.
10, since
yes.
you're 10 years
with
old.
the grandfather.
That is a long, long time.
Yes. I love his job.
You love it.
Yes.
I can see why. It's a beautiful place to be every day.
Yeah, I do all day in the Nile.
Yeah?
I live my whole life in the Nile. No, and then just in the night time I go home.
But the felucca really comes into its own when the wind begins to blow. But weighting the sails takes a real hit for heights.
And after he's going to climb up the sailing,
Right.
It's around 7 meters.
So up to the middle is about 7 meters, all the way to the top. How many meters is that?
Yeah, he's about, not all, between in the middle there.
Okay.
Yeah, and he about 15 meters or some
15
14
meters.
meters he's going up from down about to going up there.
And he
Yeah.
manages to climb all the way.
Yes, yes. He's a clown all the way and then.
That's pretty amazing, just
Yes.
how quickly he's able to get up
Yes,
there.
must do like this.
Yeah.
Quick, quick, quick. Yalla, hurry.
Thankfully, these two have the skills and more. They're veterans of this stretch of the river in the south around Luxor. Adli's family's been working the stretch of the river for generations. Here, in the south of Egypt, near Luxor, their main business comes from tourism. Luxor, known in ancient Egypt as Thebes, is home to some of the country's most famous sites. Among them Luxor Temple and the Valley of the Kings. Tourist numbers are recovering after dipping during Egypt's recent troubles. So for Adli and Abdu, it's a good time to be working the river. But their felucca, as these boats have done for millennia, still provides a taxi service for the locals. I've come to one of Luxor's many riverside communities. It's where Adli and his rivals pick up much of their business. Hundreds of families live here, some for generations. And one of them is the Abu Mursi family. They've lived in this house for 50 years. Sania and her family are completely independent in their life here on the island.
عايشين فيه كذا سنة من 60 سنة عايشين في البيت ده والنبي فيش طوبة خضراء مبنية يعني بطوبة خضراء حد الطوبة هذه مبنية مبلوطة كده وجايبين عيشتنا فيه جوزنا في قد السنة دي كذا سنة 60 سنة واحنا عايشين في البيت ده فيش يعني حاجة لا شغل ولا بقول ولا حاجة على قد الحال.
Traditional custom from local communities and from a resurgent tourist business means times are good for Adli and Abdu. At the end of a busy day, life on the Nile really gets better than this.
We'll see.
liked it very much, especially when the young man was climbing up this huge mosque. Have you done anything similar in your afternoon trip on Felucca Penina?
I did try steering that Felucca, Mohammed, but it's not an easy job. It needs very strong arms to sail it, especially when there's no wind. Yeah.
Have you seen these huge rocks in the middle of the river?
The landscape is just breathtaking. I mean, you look at the rocks, you look at the hills as well, the bare land, and you realize just how significant the Nile is, especially here in Egypt.
And plants growing in the middle of the Nile, and other plants growing on the other side of the mountains.
Right, and I think it's just a very pleasant way of cooling off, especially in the afternoon when the temperatures get unbearably hot. You get to dip your feet in the waters, very cool waters. Creates that very sharp contrast between the hot temperatures outside and the cool waters of the Nile.
You know what? It's even more magic at sunset. You should try it next time you come over to Aswan.
I sure will.
Okay, guys. Next time, tomorrow, we'll be taking you into a very interesting adventure, a balloon trip over Luxor, and also we'll be talking about brick making. It will be breathtaking adventure. Please be with us tomorrow. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
To the world, it's a spectacular natural wonder. To Egypt, the River Nile means life itself.
These waters helped create an entire civilization. And the Nile has nurtured its people for thousands of years.
Following the Nile from the far south of Egypt out to the Mediterranean Sea.
Discover the sights, the stories, and the people of this incredible river.
Join CCTV for an unforgettable adventure.
The Nile, a journey of life, exclusive to CCTV.